Hi everybody, so in this video I'm going to show you kind of a tradition for my family in the summer, and this tradition goes back to my grandparents from when I was a kid. My dad and I, when I was younger, my aunts and uncles, my family, we would go out in the bay and we would dig for clams. Then we'd get the clams, we'd come home and make clam chowder. So now this is a tradition that my dad, I, and my daughter still carry on. So every summer we go out and we go clamming, and I'm going to show you a little bit of the process. And this is an outdoor channel, so I usually don't show cooking and things like that, but I thought you might be interested to see kind of like all the work that goes into making clam chowder. So I'm going to show you the process of how we go clamming, the things you need. I'm going to show you how we clean and steam the clams. So I hope you like this one. Let me know what you think. I don't think I'm ever going to be a cooking channel. I'm going to stick to the outdoors and the hiking, but I thought this might be a fun little way to just show you a special part of kind of our summer routine and something that we do every single summer. So stay tuned. Let me just show you a couple things you need to know. If you want to clam in Delaware, a super important thing you've got to know is you've got to go to the, I guess it's like the Fish and Wildlife. They have a recreational shellfish harvest map. It's super important to check that the area that you're going to go is approved to harvest shellfish. And they do this because there's certain areas that are too polluted. There's certain areas that are only seasonally approved. The other thing is you're going to need a fishing license. So I'm an out-of-state resident. I live in Pennsylvania. So when I come to Delaware, it's $20 for the year. You can fish crab, clam, whatever you want to do, all on that $20 license. So for me, and then I also got a license for my daughter, and my dad is a Delaware resident, so he has his own license. But $20 is a really cheap investment for a lot of entertainment if you like to fish, crab, clam, do all the things that we like to do. So we're going to be bringing some gloves with us today. And we found that if you don't have the gloves, the rakes can kind of cause blisters on your fingers and a lot of friction. So these are just your basic like work gloves from Harbor Freight. We got some new pairs, so we're bringing those with us today. And then this was a gift from my husband for Christmas. So what we had been using was like a sling bag for the clams, but he got me this float basket. And what this does is it has like an inner tube that goes around it, and that's going to support the basket. And this is from the KB White Company out of Massachusetts. They make the baskets, they make the float rings, and then what we'll do is tie a string on this. So as we get the clams, we're going to have the basket floating and put them in here. You know, you certainly don't need this. This is something that we do every single summer and we've done for years. So this will be a really nice item to have. But if you didn't have this, you know, you could certainly get a little bag. You could, you know, a tote bag, whatever you have to just put the clams in, but then it'll start to get heavy and weigh you down. The other thing I want to mention is when you're out there, you need to make sure you bring bug spray with you. There can often be like biting greenhead flies in the bay. A little bit of off-leaf woods will definitely help. I like to do the long sleeve SPF swim shirt because you're in the water, so your sunscreen's gonna wash off. And then another super important thing is like a water shoe. Because there can be, you know, horseshoe crabs and shells and all kinds of stuff in the bay at the bottom that's not so pleasant on your feet. It's really nice to have a water shoe. And these have kind of that flexible sole. So sometimes you'll feel the clams in like that mucky mud in the bottom of the bay. And because these are so flexible, you're still gonna have that feeling in your feet for stuff like that, but yet you're also gonna have the protection from anything sharp. So I really would highly recommend that you don't go out in the bay really far to dig for clams without sneakers or without some kind of foot protection. Okay, so this is what the basket and the float ring look like set up. And then I just took some kind of like poly rope here and tied it on this little plastic area they have. Okay guys, so we are here at Holt's Landing State Park and we're gonna go clamming today. This is what it looks like here. So here's what we've gotten so far. Some big ones. and also a little one, and there is a minimum size. You're going to want to measure these with the measuring thing. It's the same measuring thing that you would use for fishing and crabbing. It's got all the measurements on it that you need to make sure you keep legal clams. It's really amazing to just stand in the water. It's so refreshing with how hot it is right now. And basically you're going to take your clamming rake and you're going to drag across the bottom of the bay here. You're going to want to feel for that like really mucky type mud. When you hear that nails on a chalkboard sound, that's when you dig down and you extract the clam from the mud. Guys, we had a great time here at Holt's Landing. Perfect activity for a hot day. We raked so many clams, we eventually just stopped because we were just we didn't want to get more than we were going to need for chowder and for some of our recipes. So there's ample clams here, and we had a really great time, and later I'll show you how we make our chowder. So to start making our chowder, the first thing we do is scrub the outside of the clams with a little scrub brush, let them soak. We steam them in water till they open up, and then we place them on the cookie sheet. We allow them to cool, and then once they're cooled, we pull the clam inside out of the shell. It's really simple. You pull it with your hand, and then we keep the clams in a bowl, and then this is how we kind of clean out their stomachs or cut the stomachs out. They have debris in the stomach area, and we think that's just kind of gross. I mean, you don't have to do this, but it's a step that we like to take. And then what we'll do is we'll chop up all the clams. Now we're starting to make the chowder. You start by browning some bacon, then we're going to add carrots, celery, fresh chopped parsley, onion. We've got some different bell peppers here, and then we have fresh garlic. And then we have some like stewed tomatoes that we've chopped up, and then some potatoes that we've chopped as well. So you kind of just add everything into the pan, let it steam. The other important thing is as you steam your clams, you're going to want to set aside some clam broth. And we did that when we were steaming them and chopping them up, because you actually use the clam broth in this recipe. As you can see, there's a clam broth here. So everything's coming together really, really nicely. We've added the fresh clams into it, and look how delicious that is. So this is going to basically wrap up my video. I hope you really enjoyed seeing us go clamming, how we make the chowder, and just seeing a glimpse into one of the special summertime traditions in my family. Be sure to let me know in the comments. I know clams are kind of one of those foods that you either love or you absolutely hate. So let me know, do you eat clams? Do you like seafood? What do you think about clam chowder? Thanks so much for watching my video, guys. Have a great day.